Let's talk to you. The tech priest who sports an explorator's emblem on his scarlet robe directs the unblinking gaze of his augmented ocular lens at you and says in a hissing voice, "Salutary functionality initiated. Glory to House von Valencius. Trade terminal Zeta 42//33 Mu. Property of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Explorator Cognizance Fleet. Ready to process incoming requests. State your requests. Glory to the Omnissiah." How are you doing working under Incendia Chorda's rule? Information request accepted. Acceptable response found. Hear and heed. The unit Rogue Trader Incendia Bastal Chorda and the specified unit's actions have no significant effect on the operation of this Explorator Cognizance Fleet mission, since the specified unit has no jurisdiction over the Adeptus Mechanicus or any assets thereof. Glory to the Omnissiah. I'd like to make a deal. Failed to parse request. Are you seeking to access the trading interface? Glory to the Omnissiah. Requesting access to the trading interface. Alright, so this just allows us to buy some basic stuff. We aren't actually that high ranking with you. Now we could fix that, because we do need to boost your reputation for some things that we want to build on some of the planets. So if I sorted this by cost, which is a thing that I kept saying I wish they had in the game, and they totally do, and I just didn't see it. So probably not all of our holy gifts, because some other groups might want them as well. But the things they're willing to pay the most for, I'll get rid of an amount of. Sure. And then ship components and Mechanicus creations are still okay-ish. Oh, we have a bunch of these Mechanicus creations. Okay. We'll go with that. So that ranked us up a good amount. Anything here I really want. We'll take the medkits. Combat Manipulator. Whenever the wearer uses non-attacking consumable item, stimulant, medkit, etc., it counts as an attack of a different type than the previous attack for the purposes of versatility. Interesting. Targeting Visor. Increases the wearer's chance to hit targets at a range of 10 or further by 20%. Power Axe. Interesting. I think we already have several plasma pistols. Is there any way to search? There is. Do I not have plasma? I totally have plasma. Must have mistyped. So we've got some plasma guns. We don't have a plasma pistol. I don't know what we're going to do with Jai, but let's grab that and call that good. Now, if we actually go to Jai, you've got a Shuriken Catapult, which is a terrible weapon. If we look at our plasma stuff, you can use any of these. So 11 to 15 for a two-handed weapon. $15 to $20 and 45% armor penetration. That feels better. We'll start there and then see how everything else compares. So yeah, that one is still... No, that one's less damage and less armor penetration. Same AP costs for everything, it looks like. Just worse. And then definitely not going to use the pistol or the... No, this is an even better one, as I just keep upgrading. 30 to 40 damage. Less armor penetration. But 30 to 40 damage feels real good. And then ideally I should give you more equipment in other areas. What do you have related to plasma? decrease the damage of plasma weapons by 3? Sure. Can I sort by just, like, specific slots? Doesn't seem like it, which is a shame. Because otherwise it's like, there's not a good way to sort and say I want something for my helmet slot. Hit chance, critical hit chance, that sounds great. Sure. Then just random other things. Sure, boost your toughness, why not? Alright, boots. There might be a sort by type. Okay. That should organize them in groups that I can actually use, maybe? So these are the things that fit into those slots. Logic, no. I think plasma can cause toughness tests. Sure, you can have the shadow cloak field. And then boots. Agility and athletics, no. The minus 15 recoil, is that going to say that my recoil is increased? Because they show minuses regularly in ways that aren't clear to me of exactly what they mean. I don't think you're going to be doing a lot of burst fire, though. No. So recoil doesn't matter? Because plasma overcharge, I don't think would be based on recoil. And plasma overcharge. Yeah. It's not any sort of multiple rate of fire. Okay. I think that's fine. So even if recoil was a penalty, it's fine. There. That's all out of the way. Unwilling to die, the bar patrons made their last stand right here. Oh, what do we find? Well, Shireen, what do we have here? A cowardly ashmag who wants to get his paws on my certificate without even working up a sweat. Considering the circumstances currently affecting footfall, the only fitting place this filth could be hiding is in the sewers. Jai's nose wrinkles at the very thought. A nasty spot, with a powerful whiff about it. That is true, but I swear to you, Shireen, you won't come up with a better trap for Falco. I know these tunnels like the back of my hand, and the most delicious part of all is that the ashmag chose to go in there. He'll wish he hadn't. Of course, that's only if the Aji don't mess things up for us and everything goes to plan. And if it doesn't. Jai breaks off, her shoulders sagging under the weight of her doubts. If it doesn't, my gang are dead, Shireen. One wrong move, one wrong word. Gah, thrown damn that Ashmag. Why is everything so difficult? Perhaps I should have given him the Mercatum Tabulae Officiale. Falco's not a complete idiot. He won't risk such a valuable payoff. He'll hold up his end of the deal and give me Tora and the others. Explain your plan in more detail. The gist is that we need to go down into the sewer tunnels of Footfall, connect a tank of sleeping gas to the old ventilation system, and direct the airflow to Falco's hideout, and of course pray to the Exalted One that the Ashmag's jackals don't spot us. It's true, Shireen. It's going to be a little trickier than it seems. Falco is desperate, so he's bound to have his thugs patrolling the tunnels. If we go crashing around down there, he'll know something is afoot. And when Falco's feeling jumpy, Jai's nostrils flare with impotent rage, heads roll. You're suddenly telling us we want to go on a stealth mission after I brought a space marine with me. Just want to verify that that's what we're asking for. Both? What do you mean, pseudonym? Where are we going to get a tank of sleeping gas? How are we going to direct the gas to the right place? Why are you making this so complicated? I can just go and kill Falco. Because he'll kill her crew if we try that. Where are you going to get the tank of sleeping gas? Jai stares at you, trying to decide if you are joking or being completely serious. What do you take me for? I have acquired it already. Don't worry, I have everything covered. So, dogmatic, I didn't read this before, I should have. Jai Hidari, the certificate did not only grant you limitless opportunities, it also imposed upon you responsibilities to the Imperium. The certificate cannot be allowed to fall into Falco's hands. You know this. Yeah. I do. Something breaks in Jai's voice. It even sounds to you as if you hear a grinding noise, as if an old screw has come loose, and the rusty mechanism is screeching in protest at the assault. But Tora and the rest, they're waiting for me, Shireen. They're waiting. You made your choice the moment you accepted the Mercatum Tabulae Officiale from the hands of the Administratum servants. Tora and your gang can be replaced, but your certificate cannot be. I'm not telling you to abandon your gang, I'm merely reminding you that the certificate is more important than the lives of common smugglers. Or you're right, we must save them at any cost. I like this one. Like, we're not going to abandon your gang, but I want you to understand the situation of having the certificate. I too was a common smuggler once, Shireen, retorts Jai in an even tone. Don't worry, if things go awry down there, keeping the Mercatum Tabulae Officiale is my top priority. Alright, so how do we get into the tunnels? Most of the passages have been sealed off by Chorda's hounds, but there is one they definitely haven't got to. Jai visibly perks up and winks at you. Time to pay a visit to Octi and the Adeptus Amasekis, Shireen. If you used to creep through tunnels like a rat, we'll go in, wipe out Falco's gang, and leave. No, that's going to turn out poorly. Alright, it's time to enter the sewers. To the Amsekis we go, Shireen, or do you have other pressing business to handle on the way there? Yeah, I have other business. There's a lot going on here that we need to learn more about. The sweet, rotten odor and the scent of incense mix into a thick, nauseating stench. They just have people hanging visibly.
Follow my lead.
That's definitely a
With a fine departure from the Dark City. Gamora will not soon forget when they played host to the Edvater at Ulfar. I would love to see their feeble spirits writhing in the storm of souls we wrought.
Perhaps being there would pose no threat to you, mighty Ulfar. But I would likely lose my eyes at the sight of the colors roiling there.
We've got Inquisition troops. We do want to get back here. Can we just talk our way in? Or do I need to circle around to get over there? Because there's stuff to interact with. Let's talk to you. Inquisition soldier is holding a weapon of a strange make you have not seen before. Stern Inquisition fighter remains silent as he pierces you with his icy gaze. Okay, so yeah, we can't get through. Yeah, all the bodies just left hanging. Like, they are definitely setting a vibe. Drusian acolytes, a pile of burning bodies, trolling confessors. Wow. Footfall is definitely a different place than when we were last here. Is this all Chorda's doing, or is the Inquisitor? Is this his preference of handling this as well? Drusian preacher, so it's not Hieronymus up here anymore.
New challenge for me.
Please do not disturb the pilgrims. The mass is underway. Okay. Trolling confessors. Examine the pile of bodies. Stinking mass of charred, partially incinerated corpses smolders under the weight of fresh bodies. Anver. Okay, some of these are Anver members. I thought we'd mostly dealt with them, but I guess it's fair that some of them survived. Anver, heresy, piracy, blasphemy, dissent.
I won't tolerate weakness.
Alright, I'm not going to read all of the guilty signs. Mainly because there are far too many of them. Trolling confessors, various vagabonds. Is there anyone of note to see? Those are the cages that had the supposed xenos that were just mutants.
It's about time.
Okay, we can get up here this way.
Or a trap.
Have mercy, our families are starving. We only took a couple of Nutribars. Lies, I see clearly with my naked eye the corruption that has engulfed your nature. Only the cleansing fire can absolve you now. Guilty! Wow. Is this fire cleansing enough for you, you crazy hag? Emperor protects me. Guilty. Burn him. Okay. It's probably a good thing that we did not bring Iliad here. Incendia Chorda is absorbed in reading a long strip of parchment. Her left hand is holding a silver spoon with which she is carefully scooping up brain matter from the open skull of the man contorted next to her. Wow. Wow. There's a living person next to her and she is just eating his brain. Wow. Ignatius von Valencius, I was informed of your arrival. Exhaustion has marked Incendia's features with a crisscross of lines and deeper furrows. Her cheek is forever twisted in a continuous nervous tick, yet her eyes remain ablaze. Her eyes are ablaze with indomitable resolve. A dazzling aura of power and righteous fury surrounds her like a mantle. She gracefully brings a gold-plated inhaler to her lips, takes a deep breath, and the fire in her gaze flares like a plasma thruster. Let's look closely at Incendia. Point at the man with the open skull. What is that? Well, it's found its way to Footfall after all, I see. What manner of slaughterhouse is this? Such atrocious travesty of justice. What's going on here? Let's look closely at her. One of Incendia's full dress One look at Incendia's full dress uniform shows that it has not been changed in many days. The collar is greasy and the braid trim is stained with sweat. The air is tinged with the smell of an inhaled stimulant that is used to give serfs the ability to work multiple watches without rest. So she's just staying here, trying to create law and order in a pirate den, and using whatever she needs to stay awake all day, every day, to maintain this situation. And from what the Inquisitor told us, she has sort of stopped focusing on her protectorate, like the Chorda protectorate, and is just focused solely on bringing order to Footfall. Like the expanse of all of her worlds, or the expense of all of her worlds. Going to the man with the open skull. What is that? Incendia sinks her silver spoon into the man's brain and slowly consumes the revolting morsel. I must know the taste of a criminal's thoughts. It is how I learn to recognize their patterns. That sounds like heresy. Yeah. This entertainment of yours reeks of corruption. Put the man out of his misery. That's disgusting, unspeakably so. Does it help? Delicacies seem most sophisticated. I must have a taste myself, perhaps at a later time. I suggest we not delve too deeply into this discussion. That's disgusting, unspeakably so. I don't think I'm going to put him out of his misery before talking to her, because she is a rogue traitor. Defying her feels like something I shouldn't do immediately. But yes, it does reek of corruption. It is disgusting, unspeakably so. A pure soul cannot conceive of fathom the workings of an unrighteous mind. The weak embrace their ignorance, while the strong banish it. If only you knew what it is like to be familiar with every shade of corruption that lurks in depraved souls. You don't want to get too familiar with corruption. Something wild sparks in her pale eyes. You know not the first thing about perceiving it, sensing it, peering into people's souls and seeing the heinousness therein. You do not know what it looks like, what it's like to look at their faces and see the brand of their impious deeds, but I know it all too well, and none shall escape my wrath. I've encountered sanctioned death cults that practice cannibalism as part of their way of praising the Emperor. A surprisingly large number of them harbored heresy within. That's what I'm saying. You have suspicions about me? Well, it is your duty to suspect, but do your eyes see any trespass here? No, I've committed no malefaction against him. I don't know. Either just complimenting her law has found its way to Footfall, or insulting her of some atrocious travesty of justice. We'll go the more neutral, just what is going on here? Lord Inquisitor has bestowed upon me the honor of bringing order to this cesspool of pirates and heretics, to rid Footfall of the corruption that has fettered its limbs and turned this Imperial station into a hotbed of free-thinking and inefficiency, and I will not rest until all have been judged. When no one is left alive, and the station collapses from lack of maintenance, you will have successfully ended all of the potential heresy here. Congratulations. I don't think that will make it more efficient, but there you go. It pleases me that you get to share in the triumph of Footfall's purging with me. So you're in charge of Footfall now. What happened between you and Winterscale? Dogmatic. You said you would not rest until you had judged every soul on this station. I too wish to stand before your court. That is a bold choice, since we know we have done some bad things. Would she order us burned? Or draw your weapon. No more judgment. Cease this disgrace and get off Footfall. I don't know if I'll be able to go through all of these options. So I'm going to do the dogmatic one first. But I think she's going to find us lacking. We've done enough things that aren't 100% dogmatic Yeah. You said you would not rest until you had judged every soul on this station. I too wish to stand before your court. Incendia stares at you in amazement. You truly wish to stand trial? Very well. May your zeal serve as an example to the rest. We gained piercing resolution. Once per battle, the rogue trader may choose an ally, including themselves. For 1 round, all the target's weapon attacks ignore enemy's armor. Oh. Incendia leans forward and peers into your eyes. Her gaze, like a monk carrying a rushlight, wanders down the corridors of your soul's fortress, checking every corner in search of the slightest faults or traces of corruption. Moments pass as Incendia conducts her thorough investigation, until at last she reclines on her throne again. A weary smile touches her lips. I see no sign of taint in your soul, Ignatius. You are pure before the Emperor, and thus I quit you and grant you his blessing in parting. Go forth and bring his punishment to those who have turned their back on his word. So we've done wrong things, but it hasn't tainted our soul, is how I read that. So you are in charge of Footfall now. Indeed I am. When the Lord Inquisitor enacted martial law in the Expanse, I offered him my support at once. Footfall was chosen as the Lord Inquisitor's headquarters, and the position of Footfall's liege was temporarily abolished for the duration of this war, or perhaps longer than that. All authority was transferred to the station's warden, to me. While the Lord Inquisitor is preoccupied with matters of strategic planning, I'm tasked with overseeing security and order. And there is much to do on that front. Pirates and smugglers, apostates and cold traders, deserters and outlaws, every one of them warrants attention. Incendia cracks her neck, which must have grown stiff after so many hours of reading, before picking up another sheet. Everywhere you look, servants are buckling under heavy stacks of new denunciations, warrants, and other documents. And whom is it you are judging? What makes you think you are entitled to govern this place as you see fit? Chuckling point at the hapless assassin's corpse. I can tell you are quite popular with the locals. Or just where's the Lord Inquisitor? Whom is it you are judging? We'll just work our way down. All of them. Thieves, smugglers, pirates, traitors, heretics, deserters, abettors, harborers, cowards, and perjurers. Any who has ever trespassed, any who has ever protected a miscreant, or kept quiet about a crime they knew of, they will all be condemned. With obsessive determination, Incendia starts going through her papers, seemingly no longer aware that she is doing so. More and more new convicts are being granted the great boon of undergoing servitude in perpetuous, and having rid themselves of reprehensible consciousness, of serving the Imperium free from doubt and weakness. Footfall will once again become a bastion of law and righteousness. I will eradicate all heresy that prevents the faithless from giving themselves over to the good of toiling in his name. How long has your court been in session already? There's nothing just about this trial. Your accusations are contrived, and their purpose is simply to turn the entire population of Footfall into pliant automatons. Some truth. Not entirely true. There are a lot of lawlessness going on here in heresy. I applaud your efforts. This place was long overdue some proper law and order. Admit it, you simply enjoy turning people into slaves. Why do you feel you need to come up with excuses for sowing carnage? Or you're most thorough. How long have you been in this session already? Incendia seems slightly perplexed by your question. She starts moving signed sentences from one stack to another, then says uncertainly, 3 weeks? The court carries on day and night, so my sense of time eludes me. Oh, do I agree with her? There is some truth. I think she's gone overboard. Would a dogmatic view, like a proper God-fearing dogmatic view, that she has gone overboard? Probably. Probably. I wouldn't say there's nothing just about the trial, though. I think most of those she has accused, maybe not most, many of those she has accused are guilty of various heresies. And this place did probably need some amount of law brought to it, particularly with the amount of chaos cults and whatnot in the area. And the presumably war that is brewing, given that the Inquisitor is here. I'm just going to say you're most thorough. I feel like either of these is a bit too strong. I don't want to just fully agree, but I also don't want to denounce everything she's doing. So just you're most thorough. The universe is a terrifying place. We are surrounded by the archenemy's machinations and xenos scum who would deny us our right to exist. The threat is inconceivable, and human weakness will not help us avert it. If man is weak, I rid him of his spinelessness and feebleness, endowing him with a sacred narrowness of mind and eradicating all that prevents him from utilizing his whole self in the service of the Imperium. She is not lying. You can tell by her eyes and her voice trembling with earnest faith that Incendia genuinely believes in every word she said. What makes you think you're entitled to govern this place as you see fit? It's a fair question, because this place was supposed to be split between all three of the rogue traders, that none could have full governance over it. Although presumably the Lord Inquisitor gave her the right. But we can at least ask. Such is the law of footfall. Any rogue trader who arrives here is assumed the right of absolute authority. Surely it is not that thug Takara who deserves to rule the station. He will soon be hanging from a noose, and so will his Casabalic and henchmen, and so will those Anver firebrands whose outrageous activities brought footfall to so much grief. She looks at you with a gloating smirk. Once you hindered my efforts to subdue this station, and yet here I am now, dispensing justice to the wicked. I only regret that I was unable to begin sooner. Then Tokara's troublemakers would have already been crushed, instead of lurking in cargo bays and maintenance tunnels. Regardless, I'll deal with them soon enough. Alright. I can tell you were quite popular with the locals. This attempt was mediocre and far from the first, but my enforcers and my throne keep me safe. Incendia pats an armrest and smiles. Its refractor field is impervious even to tank shells. That thief Tokara had this sacred Drusian relic stashed in one of his storerooms. Where's the Lord Inquisitor? In the Liege's chambers, coordinating the Expanse's defense. His attention is focused on matters of vital importance, and he is not seeing any supplicants. He'll see me. The soldier wearing inquisitorial armor echoes Incendia's words. Your lordship cannot see the Lord Inquisitor now. However, he bade me inform your lordship that he will summon you later, when circumstances permit. Really? We shall see whether Footfall will thank the Emperor for your reign. In due time, I shall weed out all the taint that has bred here on Footfall for so long, and then pious fear, loyalty, and devotion will once again become the pillars of this station under his watchful eye. What happened between you and Winterscale? Winterscale is a traitor. When the Expanse burns, ravaged by heretics and unhallowed xenos, he abandoned his duty completely, and had the nerve to ignore the Lord Inquisitor's call to battle. My servants are capturing his worlds and ships while he hides from his reckoning, indulging in his base urges. Soon enough, he too will stand before judgment. I wholeheartedly share in your indignation. Caligos is a reprobate. Have you and Caligos lost your minds? The Expanse is in a calamitous state, and you two are busy settling scores. You must cease this at once. I like that. If you ask me, you are simply using the situation to plunder his protectorate. Should he call upon House von Valentius for help, we will answer. Probably not that. I've heard enough. Your feud is no concern of mine. Yeah, have you and Caligos lost your minds? The Expanse is in a calamitous state, and you two are busy settling scores. You must cease this at once. Negotiating with that mad dog is off the table now. He will merely laugh at your talk of reconciliation and execute your envoys. For too long has Caligos reveled in impunity and believed himself the king of his world. I mean, he kinda is. I'm not gonna force her to stop. I don't think that's a profitable thing to push for. Just enough words. You're accused to wait, and so do my duties. I'll do what I can to save the Koronus Expanse. You try and save Footfall, I suppose. Wait, you have a duty to the Emperor that you must see to. Vladimir Tokar, the deplorable rebel who once ruled this station, has slipped from my grasp. He is inciting people to revolt, killing my servants and hiding from my wrath. with the dexterity of a void rat. My informers claim he often appears in that den of unrest that bears the irreverent name, the Adeptus Amass. We have made several attempts to arrest him, yet he has evaded capture each time. Reverend Hieronymus has gone there to convince him to surrender quietly, but his efforts have likewise been unsuccessful. In the interest of Footfall's integrity, Tokar must be apprehended. Together we shall make the scoundrel pay for his crimes. Let him drink the cup of his wrath to full, a cup that will be delivered by our own hands. The Estrid where the Adeptus Amass is located has been cordoned off, but my enforcer will take you there. I want you to lure Tokar out of his hole and seize him so that he may stand trial. Do this for the sake of Footfall's liberation and pave the road that my justice will tread. I mean, based on her definitions, Vladimir is very much a criminal. He was very high in the xeno trade efforts. Why did Hieronymus go to the Adeptus Amass? Some of the people you wish to execute are useful to me. I purchase valuable equipment from them. She won't like that. And what do I stand to gain? I'll help you deal with Vladimir. Lie, I'll drag Vladimir before this court. Or haven't the slightest desire to get involved in your petty squabbles. There's some truth to that. Why did Hieronymus go to the Adeptus Amass? Reverend Hieronymus headed where the rebels are seen most often, so he could preach to them and sway them to repent. Alas, he still cannot see the difference between those who have erred and those who are beyond any hope of redemption. So Hieronymus kind of is in the same position as us. Of not everyone who has sinned is guilty of death. Some of them can repent. Yeah. You pronounce Vladimir a criminal? Why wouldn't I? That vile rogue's infamy is known to all. He patronizes thieves, smugglers, and pirates. By his leave, heresies and unholy cults flourish. That he has evaded punishment this long can only be described as gross negligence, which I intend to rectify in short order. She also can't see the difference. Yeah. Not reporting a crime warrants lashes, not servitorization. Exactly. She's going too far. And while I agree with her that Vladimir is sort of one of the heads of the crime, and therefore he probably does actually deserve punishment, most of the others don't. And if there was someone more in line with the Emperor's mandates leading Footfall, that probably would be good long term. So getting rid of Vladimir probably is good. And I don't think I actually make use of his people and his goods. So I'm somewhere between I'll help you deal with Vladimir or I haven't the slightest desire to get involved in your petty squabbles. I don't know. I think I'm fine with helping her get rid of Vladimir. I don't think he is a beacon of hope and prosperity that we need to protect. I never doubted you, Ignatius. The Emperor protects. But remember, Incendia's eyes flash manically. None of the rebel leaders are allowed to die before their trial. I forbid you to execute them without my leave. Okay. Well, I'm gonna loot these people. You had a plasma gun. It's pretty decent. I mean, we've got a bunch of the same gun, so I'll just send it to the collection. Trolley Confessor. The fact that we have been specifically told the Inquisitor won't meet with us is strange.
I'm offering a hymn of homage to the Angel of the Emperor and the ancient ferocious machine spirits controlling his armor.
Huh.
Yes, my adamantine skin has seen many battles and bears many glorious scars. Hear the glorious verse of the time when...
Okay. By the order of the Lord Inquisitor of the Holy Order of Xenos, the Legion's palace is... Hello? Presently closed to outsiders. Alright. I think that's weird. Because didn't he specifically call us here? Granted, that was before we got sidetracked with Kruderak. Gamora? I keep getting those names mixed up, and I shouldn't. They're very different. Gamora, I think. Kruderak is the craft world. There's so many bodies hanging around.
I'll lay claim to the stars.
Alright, what can we see here? Demolition 70, to look at the traces of soot. Just do a quick save and then we can check it out.
Done.
A bomb exploded here, most likely an improvised one. Thanks. What useful information. The man in front of you is scrutinizing a data slate. The insignia of the Holy Inquisition hangs from his chest. Controlling confessors, Inquisition troops. Let's head up here. Oh, there's a body we can loot down there.
Victory
Apparently.
awaits.
Oh, we can't actually get up here. Okay, where's this body we saw? There. It's under the stairs? How would I get there? How do we get to you?
Servants of the Emperor, by the mandate
Huh.
of His Grace the Lord Inquisitor, a mandatory curfew has been instated.
Okay. So yeah, there's all the things we can look at. How do we get to the Adeptus Amsecus? From here. Not sure. 'Cause we kind of went all the way through this whole area. We haven't been back here, actually. So let's head this direction. See what we can find. Someone shoved a flamer down the throat of this Chorda soldier and burned his entrails. Gross. Bunch of vagabonds, suspicious prowlers, etc. up here. Looks like that's it. Let's go down this other side.
I won't tolerate weakness.
Okay, and you guys are going to stop us from going this way? Backlight of the Inquisition. Yeah, she did say that her people would take us to the Adeptus Amsecus. So maybe we're just trying to find the right people to talk to. That'd be kind of tedious.
A new challenge for me.
Oh, nope, this will just take me to the Adeptus Amsecus. Okay. Alright, then Martyr's Endurance, apparently. Unless that's the name of my ship, but I don't think so. But I don't remember what I need in my ship.